Yes, hello, Dr. Althea. Today I want to advise you on most of the best books you can read. Honestly speaking, the best books in the world, and most others believe they can do. And honestly, let me tell you something at the same time before I'm gonna give you a list of these five best books you can read. Reading the books does make you rich, but actions makes you rich. Sometimes people say, "Always I've read these books and I haven't seen any impact." Yes, you can read the books. You can have 1,000 read. You can read 10,000 books, but without actions, actually cannot be rich. That makes sense anyway. So, even to be dangerously intelligent at your 20s, 40s, just please read these books and do actions and making sure you do actions, do what the book tells in a nice way. So the first book I want to advise you today is this, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. So this is the best book. This book teaches you on how to behave with money. When you have money, how do you behave with money? How do people see you behaving with money? Sometimes people just say, I have money. How do you behave with money? So this book by Morgan also teaches you on how to behave with money. That's called the psychology of money. It's really available in our shops, in our shops, so easily you can access them. It's gonna help you to understand on how to behave with money. So this book's nice. The title is The Psychology of Money, as you can see. I want to break into details chapter by chapter and later on in my discussion. And actually, the second book, it's written by a gentleman called Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki has written a number of books in this country, in this world, as you can know, in this world. So a number of books with different meaning and different aspirations and ambitions. So, for instance, for the beginners, The Rich Dad Poor Dad is the best book I want to advise you for the beginners because the author, Robert Kiyosaki, was raised up by two dads, one from one was rich and the other was poor, but he believed and they stayed with the poor dad always because the poor dad always gave him the best advice, best explanation about life, best explanation about money and everything. So I want to break this book, The Rich Dad Poor Dad, in the next few minutes into details chapter by chapter, just to understand exactly the synopsis part of it. What does this book say by Robert Kiyosaki, the best book. The second book is The Richest Man in Babylon. Oh wow. If you want to be rich in Kenya, want to rich in your country, rich in your family, this is the best book to read. The Rich Dad, the Richest Man in Babylon by George. Right. This is another gentleman in the 19th century. This man came up with this philosophy on how he became rich in Babylon, now and some of the things he did. Honestly, if you want to be rich, again, this book I'm gonna break them chapter by chapter into details. Why? How can you be rich? Even not necessarily maybe your family members. How can you be the first millionaire in your family? This book breaks down step by step, chapter by chapter. Now you can be a millionaire, the first millionaire in the house. The second one is honestly, we believe in a world whereby we have the university, we have the best high schools, best colleges, best institutes. But at the same time, yeah, these institutions does not explain on how to be rich, does not explain on how to be wealth. So, and as the second book by Robert Kiyosaki, why A students work for C students and B students work for the government. This book tells us not necessarily you get a first class so that you can be wealth. You see, why A students, the interns, the doctors, they work for C students. Why? This book explains step by step. It gives you the courage and the synergy to work closely with what you have. It doesn't matter you score D, C, A, but what matters most is the knowledge that this book enlightens you, the knowledge that this book gives you. The last book I want to tell you today is about the best books because we believe in working in environment whereby we have fear if I retire, what will happen? Okay, this book by Robert Kiyosaki, which says retire young, retire rich. So this book by Robert Kiyosaki is a nice. I think I did say it's a gentleman who believes in himself, a gentleman who believes in people. So this book tells you on how to define on how to plan for your retirement at a young age. If you're working right now, how are you going to plan for your retirement? Because once you retire, you don't need to work. Let money work for you. So this book by Robert Kiyosaki teaches you on how to plan for your retirement at a young age. You want to retire after working for 10 years, 2 years, 5 years. This book teaches you, gives you a step-by-step analysis. Honestly, I did say that. Even if you read these books, the 48 powers of Afro, but without taking into consideration some of the things they just talk about, it's just uh, a store, it's yours. So mostly it's about taking actions, right? So thank you very much for listening to me. These are the best books I've given to you. Next time we'll be sharing the next books. At the same time, I'll be trying to explain each book into details, chapter by chapter, in my live streams, in my videos. You can like and type. So my name is Dr. Michel Nyabuto. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. Bye bye. See you next time.